people, welcome back to another LoveLuxeLogic video. Today I am finally sharing my trip to Dubai. This has been a trip that's been on my bucket list for quite a long time. So this past Christmas break, I finally decided to just take the leap and do it. In this video, I'll be sharing 7 mistakes that I made just so you can visit this destination with the most realistic expectations. So let's get started. So when I'm planning my travel, I'm sure to include cost-efficient transportation for getting around my destination. While researching, I did discover that Dubai actually has a metro system, and the plan was to choose an Airbnb close to a metro just so I can lie more heavily there than utilizing a taxi. What I did miscalculate was how long a commute would cost me. 45 minutes at minimum, with no less than 2 transfers at minimum. And mind you, these are different modes of transportation, from a train to a bus. I'm very basic. If I'm utilizing a metro system, I'd like to keep the same mode of transportation and make sure I get from point A to point B. If it's not that basic, I don't want it. I enjoyed ordering up a 20-minute taxi from the Careem app, and I utilized the Hala taxi selection. It's like Uber, but I think it's way better. It's used for multiple services, but we'll get to that later. My driver was there in under 4 minutes most of the time, so keep that in mind. And I just sat back and let the driver do all of the navigating. The gag is, the prices were starting at 10 dirham, which is equivalent to about $3 US. But for about 2 to 4 transfers a day and being stuck in traffic all of the time, that bill quickly added up. So regardless of which choice you choose, just be prepared either way. So I have been missing a little convenience since we have been stationed in Europe for the past 3 years. Don't get me wrong, Europe does have some convenience. However, when it comes to food delivery, we indulge just a little bit too much. On the first night, we arrived at around 7 p.m. at the airport. By the time we got our bags and made it to our humble abode, well, it was close to 10 p.m. and we were famished. I used the Careem app to order dinner for the night. We finally decided on Indian food. The wait time said about 45 minutes wait. I thought that was perfect. That gave us time to freshen up. No kidding. The food delivery took them a solid 20 minutes, okay? And the food tasted like it came straight off the stove. It was absolutely delicious. Don't overdo it. They will spoil you when it comes to speedy service, but trust and believe that bill will add up.
Early the next morning.
I was gonna get Sky egg sandwich, but I was like, that little girl don't even like eggs. So this is by Bunday. And then this is for Sky. Ooh, these some nice sized pancakes, girl. Ooh. So that's for you. Okay.
It's not hash browns.
These are good size. You can have one. So the place that I chose was beautiful. It was a beautiful condo in the JLT area. It was mainly central to most of the locations that I had planned to visit.
Promise. Promise not to you. Promise. Promise not to you. Promise.
It took me weeks to actually decide on this one, and I was leery since there were no reviews on this selection. You know, Dubai is like booming with new businesses, and I'm thinking this could very well be a new business venture, and I would be walking into a brand new condo, okay? That was not the case. At first glance, it looked exactly like the pictures. However, I did spot a little nub of soap in the shower. There was hair on the floor. It just seemed as if the place hadn't been vacuumed in quite some time. So that bumped my 4.5 stars down to a 3. I didn't find any issue with anything else, but it just wasn't giving in the cleanliness category, okay? So not really a mistake, but there was a weird moment on Christmas Day that I'm about to share. Me keeping in mind that we are only a hop, skip, and jump away from very hostile territory, geographically speaking, okay? I just warn anyone to be mindful of your surroundings and never let your guard down, no matter how much someone tries to dismiss or downplay your experience or give a blanket statement that does not really fit the scenario. Let's roll the clips. Okay, so basically, I got a knock on the door. I went to go investigate because first off, nobody's supposed to know that we're even in the building. So I knew I wasn't expecting anyone. I tried to look through the peephole, but there was something smeared on the peephole so much that I could not make out who it was. When I answered to say hello, they were mumbling, like kind of talking low in a way to encourage you to like open the door. This is when my spidey senses went off because everybody in Dubai speaks English very well. So there was really no language barrier for us. The fact that I can't make you out, like, it just seemed weird. For me, I did not open the door. I just chose to tell them no, and I walked away. So they continued to knock as if they didn't understand what no means. No is no, and it's very universal in my opinion. I was shook a little bit. So I decided to reach out to the host and I informed him of what happened. He thought that it could possibly have been the delivery person. I couldn't make out if it was a male or a female, but the voice tone would have placed it as a female over a male. He did say that there was a delivery to be made and he would have informed the delivery person to not do that again. This is a territory, like a location I have a little bit of experience, understanding a little bit of their mentality. Sometimes they will target the tourists and try to encourage them to like buy more, do more, kind of finesse their way into getting what they want out of you. So with that in the back of my mind, I just knew something was off there. And then also just knowing like I have to leave the building at some point, I now feel a little unsafe. I informed the host to please change the lock code because it was legit all ones. And he told me he would fix it. And I think he was probably like in the same building. So he did that like right away. I just don't want to be violated in any way. So that was a precaution I took. This kind of just sparked a conversation with me and Sky about sex trafficking. At some point, Sky would go off on her own adventures, but she also needs to be very mindful of the dangers that lie around her, but not so much to paralyze her and not doing anything to explore or whatever. So that was me still being an example beyond my anxiety, because my anxiety was legit through the roof during this time. I still wanted to make sure that I could also exemplify being very brave regardless of that, and doing what I needed to do to make sure we both were safe and we both felt comfortable enough to leave the place. It would behoove you to just have that conversation with your kids while traveling or before traveling, not to scare them or fearmonger anyway, but just to inform, educate, let them know like, hey, regardless of this, you still are allowed to live, like regardless. So I think the media has done a really great job with branding Dubai as being this luxurious location where you will get the best in luxury, the best in shopping, one-of-a-kind experiences. All very true, okay? Based on the popularity. That may or may not be true. Exhibit A. On Christmas Eve, we actually went to a skating rink called Roll DXB. Hands down, the best skating rink I've been to outside of the States. It was beautifully decorated. It had all of the vibes, okay? And it was also mostly empty. More time over our limit just because there was literally nobody else. Exhibit B.
Okay guys, we have made it to Motion Park Dubai. Sky's excited. I'm a little irritated. I'm a whole lot irritated because can I talk?
Yeah.
Uncle told me I could have just waited, could have went to the pool, to the beach today, but that's not the case. I thought today will be a good day to go with the traffic being low, but this slow, bruh, like it's damn near empty. It's 1:30. Place opened at 11, so.
Most people want to be with their families on Christmas.
Yes, that is true. I've never been here, but I've never seen a park this big be this empty. A new day in history.
I just closed my eyes
A day in history, guys.
for the gliders, and then when we did the Viking thing.
We didn't get to explore the entire theme park because I did have reservations for Christmas dinner. So we had a small window to work with, but having a fast pass definitely helped us out.
Real quick, we are heading to Christmas dinner at this Cajun place. Hopefully the food is just as good as the reviews are. It's about a 6-minute walk from the Airbnb. So we are dressed and ready to go.
Believing everything in Dubai was going to be super busy, overcrowded. Absolutely not. I'd say choose the less popular spots and you may very well get to enjoy the entire establishment with no hassle like we did. So remember when I said my driver was there in under 4 minutes most of the time? Well, we can address that. On 2 occasions, I've been dropped off by the taxi drivers in places where I still had to figure out where exactly the establishment was. Like, bruh. You know dang on well this is not a skating rink that you dropped me off in front of. Exhibit A. We got dropped off in the back of the actual building and we were wandering aimlessly for a good 2 minutes before some random employee pointed us in the right direction to get to the skating rink. The taxi driver was just like, listen, this is what Google Maps said. Here you go. Deuces. Bruh. Exhibit B. Motion Gate is actually a part of a cluster of amusement parks within Dubai. When we got to the amusement park grounds, the driver finally pulls up to the first establishment on the grounds, which is actually a resort. This is not the request. The driver said there is a shuttle that will take us to the park. Bruh, I asked you to take me to the park, not this resort. So we get out, I walk out to the back patio of the resort, and sure enough, they had these golf carts for transportation. I finally asked one of the drivers and they said, we can take you around the resort, but not to the park. Thankfully, one of the drivers of the golf course was so gracious enough to just drive us halfway.
15 minutes later.
We finally made it to the park and yep, still a ghost town. I was worried. When we were ready to leave the theme park, we went to a parking lot and told the taxi to come get us from that location. Well, my mans drove back to the actual resort, and I really think this was the agreed upon spot to pick up and drop off our customers getting to this park. But he eventually figured it out. Here comes another gag. While I'm waiting on my taxi driver, I had already paid for him. We have already communicated. I find another taxi who pulls up, and he decides to haggle with me or bargain with me, saying that he can charge me half the price of the taxi I had already ordered, which leads me to my next mistake. Naturally, I am always smiling, I'm welcoming, very pleasant, very demure, okay? A haggling taxi driver was just one example of showing how much bargaining is embedded in the culture. If I haven't learned anything about Arabian or Emiratis, they are true hustlers, okay? They are extremely competitive. I can't even make eye contact with a product without being approached to haggle, bargain with making a deal. It was overstimulating, especially in the mall for an introvert like myself. I will say that I made the mistake of not sticking to my gut when I went into this one store to buy Dubai chocolates. We walk in, I spot the chocolate, and on my way to the register, some guy in the back waves me down to show me some teas. Now, anybody who knows me know I love tea, okay? So we get to tasting, smelling, all of the things, and he told me that the kind that I had tasted was actually pomegranate tea. He asked, hey, would you like a little bit of it? I was like, yeah. He proceeds to give me a little bit of the pomegranate tea that I tasted. This is what he gave me. That's red flag number one. I go to the register and the lady gave me this outrageous number that can't be seen from the other side, like my side of the register. That's red flag number two. I exchanged the bigger chocolate for a smaller size of chocolate, and the price was still just not there. I was not happy with that price. Something told me like just to put the tea back, but I was like, bruh, it's pomegranate tea. So yeah, I left poker face, decided to go proceed and purchase this tea. I did get bent out of shape, and I should have spoken up and just said no. I just tried to look at it like I did a donation. Like I made a donation today for sure to their business. So I try to keep that kind of mindset, to not be so salty about the purchase at all. That's just how I deal with it. Lesson learned, stand on business and don't let up. So I'd like to preface this with two things can be true. I'm all about living within your means, and this is for my bougie on a budget, okay? So I drew the line with Emirates Airlines when my 11-year-old started complaining about her back in economy on our way to Dubai. We were on a 6-hour trip. I knew that flight would be about a little bit over 7 hours getting back. So I really wrestled with upgrading our seats during our entire stay for our flight back. I am not at all impulsive when it comes to making big purchases. So literally the night before I had to check back in our flight, I elected to upgrade our seats to business class. And honestly, this was worth every penny. And utilize every amenity that was available to us on the flight back. We arrived refreshed, rested, honey. We grabbed our bags before everybody else on the plane did. And because our valet service never misses, we were actually being called as we grabbed our bags. So they were already waiting for us outside. Honestly, the puzzle pieces for this trip just kind of clicked together, making this a very memorable trip despite my many shortfalls. I'm very happy, super glad that I took this trip, and even may return at some point, maybe solo. If you've gone to Dubai, feel free to leave some comments, more mistakes you made, tips or whatever in the comments below, and hopefully we can help some other people out. With that being said, that concludes this video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to join the L3 tribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!